Welcome once again to my YouTube channel Shankanath. सारे जहाँ से अच्छा, the best in the world, said an astronaut, Scott Rakesh Sharma, aboard Soyuz T-11 spacecraft way back on April 12th, 1984. This was his response when then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi asked him what India looked like from the space. This astronaut spent more than 7 days in space, and till date, he is the only one Indian astronaut to be in space. Yes, 37 years since, nothing much has happened in this field. It was an immense relief to hear the PM announcing that India will be sending a manned mission now in 2022-23. Even the first Indian astronaut I named was thrilled that it has happened, and now he will have some company. New York Times way back in 1984-85 had said that India will not be able to send an Indian astronaut in an Indian spacecraft in near future. And this long wait almost was telling the same story. However, things changed. Why did it take almost 35 to 36 years for us to plan this mission? The major hurdles, as far as I think, or the delay, is lack of budget, that is the financial position of the country, the technical challenges, and the training for crew, that is the human factor. Let's see now how we overcome all these hurdles in the given time. The first and foremost aspect was the finance, rather the financing of this project. Food and shelter for people or development has been a point of debate in our country, especially we being a developing country. And this debate has put development in the backseat for some time. Now, a manned spacecraft, mind you, could require about 124 billions of rupees. That is $1.77 billion US dollars. The government in 2007-8 released but around rupees 500 million. That is $7 million US dollars. Thereafter, nothing much happened till almost 2018. Then the government approved around 100 billion, that is 1.5 billion US dollars, for a 7-day mission for 2 to 3 astronauts to be launched in 2023. This is how the program was once again restarted, we can say. Prior to the launching of manned shuttle, we will have to send 2 unmanned missions. It's almost a prerequisite because we need to test many systems that will give us a confidence that a manned mission is possible. And then you can imagine the financial implications for all these combined 3 missions. Second point is technical challenges. There are many. To name a few, we had to indigenously, mind you, manufacture a launch pad, propulsive systems, crew module re-entry space capsule, safe crew ejection mechanism in case the rocket failure, and launch vehicle, that is GSLV Mark III. Flight suits development and conducting pad abort test were few other smaller challenges which we could successfully complete. The most important of all these was the re-entry space capsule designing. It was most crucial factor due to the friction caused because of re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. You know, tremendous heat is generated when this happens, and the crew has to be protected with the help of heat shields. However, the entire capsule on the entry is, you can say, enveloped in flames, and the abolition layer coating, which is there to protect the crew, keeps slicing off. The second most important crucial thing is the opening of parachute, which is used to slow down the capsule, has to be at the correct time, and it has to be strong enough to withstand the re-entry forces or the forces which they are subjected to. The third factor is human factor. The third factor is human factor, and is another important factor. Experiencing of zero gravity is a major challenge. Human body takes almost 36 to 48 hours to acclimatize to zero gravity once human beings are in space. Medical problems like space sickness, same as our tribal sickness. Then when you are back to Earth, it takes almost the same time to re-acclimatize to the gravity. It is almost impossible. Yes, it is almost impossible to create zero gravity when on Earth. Therefore, training for acclimatizing in zero gravity is a very difficult proposition, and hence needs to be adopted to on a on-job training when you are in space. Second and the third important point is the gravitational force during takeoff and re-entry are very, very high, and their effect lasts longer. This I am comparing with the gravitational force effect on the aircraft. So, the tolerance to these G forces or the gravitational forces has to be developed, and that requires a lot of training, which is another important factor. To overcome all these problems which I have just mentioned in human factors and training, the 4 officers who were selected for Indian Air Force commenced their training somewhere way back in Feb 2019 in Russia. The training was planned for 1 year but got extended a little bit, and they have just returned. And this training was held near a city near Moscow. Now, they in India will be trained for module specific training. That is, the spacecraft which we are going to use, that specific training they will be. And let me mention 3 main important aspects of this training. Number 1, module for crew members, that is in which they are going to be traveling. Then module for overall project, in which technical terms also will come, technicalities will come, how the things are to be operated will be covered. And last but not the least and equally important is module for flight hardware and software. You know, there the astronauts have no one to help. So each of these is definitely a complex one. And remember, this complexity increases as you go ahead. Now, Gaganyaan, that is the skycraft, we can call it, is the first activity in the Indian human spacecraft program. And this was announced by PM on 15th August 2018. Gaganyaan will be the first of Indian manned orbital spacecraft, and there will be many to follow. It will be interesting to see how and when the planning of this activity started. The preliminary studies and the technical development started way back in 2006 under a very generic name. It was named as orbital vehicle, that's all. The design was finalized in 2008. Funding was sanctioned in 2009, but the political support and funding fell way short for the required. And the first unmanned vehicle launch, which was planned in 2013, was postponed to 2016. However, finally, in 2012, due to funding issues, in 2013 it was declared that all manned space flight efforts, overall Indian space flight efforts, are off ISRO's priority list and we may have to stop this. But come 2014, and a substantial budget was announced for this program, and immediately HAL manufactured first experimental flight was launched on December 2014, and thus the progress was restarted, and in May 2019 design of crew model was complete. DRDO, that is Defense Research and Development Organization, is going to provide the system for critical human-centric systems and technicalities also. They will provide space-grade food, crew health care, radiation measurement and protection against this radiation, and parachute recovery. So DRDO has also got an important role in this project. On June 2020, 11 June rather, it was announced that first unmanned mission is likely to get delayed due to, we all know, the present COVID problems. However, the government and the ISRO has said that the manned mission, which is planned in 2023, will not be delayed, rather will be on time. Let me tell you, before this manned mission is planned, ISRO needs to complete 3 very critical tests, and the success of the manned mission is going to depend on these tests. Hence, the importance of the unmanned missions. The first and foremost is airdrop test for the parachute system. Second is demonstrating ability of successfully recovering of the space capsule, because recovery procedure is going to be a very crucial and important aspect of this whole flight. And last but not the least, a flight test for the vehicle itself, in which the astronauts are going to go. Abort test is another important aspect. This, abort test is required to demonstrate the escape of the crew in case of emergency at the launch pad. For such missions you have to be ready for all the emergencies which are likely, and that's why this is also equally important. The maiden manned mission of ISRO is about an autonomous 3.7 tons capsule, and this capsule is going to orbit the Earth at around 400 kilometers for 7 days with 2 or 3 crew members, as will be decided very soon. It will go around the Earth every 90 minutes, and the time to reach the orbit once launch is going to be around 16 minutes or so, and the return flight will be in hours, almost 30 to 36 hours. And on the return, the capsule will land in Arabian Sea off the Gujarat coast. Now this mission, we are spending a lot of money. However, this mission itself is going to provide employment to around 15,000 people, mind you, out of which only 861 are ISRO employees. The crew in their 7 days are going to conduct experiment on basically microgravity, and they will see India once in every 24 hours. So this rupees 10,000 crore mission will be a turning point, definitely a turning point in India's space programs, or you can say a space journey. ISRO, as I said earlier, has developed and tested few very critical technological things like re-entry mission capability, crew escape system, crew module configuration, thermal protection system, which is very important aspect of this whole mission, deceleration and flotation system, and life support system required for the mission. So this is a real big step forward in our space programming, and the world will definitely look up to India's this mission. ISRO will be also themselves performing 4 biological and totally 2 physical science experiments related to again microgravity itself. The whole nation, I am sure, is now looking forward to a successful launch of the 2 unmanned vehicles flight missions first, and then the whole India will like to see it culminating into a historic first in our space technology, that is India's manned orbital spacecraft mission being successful. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel, Shankhanath. Please give your comments on this episode and give likes also. Thank you and Jai Hind.